Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here today with Eitan, and we are beginning what will be a month-long discussion on the power of self-reflection and self-evaluation. It'll be a month-long discussion with week-specific assignments and consciousness. But the general idea is that the month of Virgo that begins this week gives us a once-a-year opportunity to audit and to redesign the blueprint of our year. And every week within that month of Virgo allows us to do unique work. And usually this weekly energy that we're talking about today falls toward the beginning, if not the very first week of the month of Virgo, to give us the software, the potentiality to do this work in a way that is not only practical, that is not only meaningful, but that also brings results, which is something that we're all looking for in 2024. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we aim to provide our listeners with the most practical and powerful tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that through the wisdom and tools of Kabbalah, and every episode ends up revealing tools and wisdom and techniques that you can use any week of the year, any year of your life. And even though for those of you who may have been listening for years already, this week, the combination, the chemistry that exists energetically this week hasn't existed before and won't exist again. And that's one of the things that the Kabbalists teach, and really is the premise of Weekly Energy Boost as a podcast, is to help our listeners really target their energy, manage your energy in a way so that you utilize the gifts that the universe wants to give us every week, and you prepare yourself not to fall into the potholes that exist along the path. And so today, Eitan and I are prepared to talk with you about this unique opportunity for self-evaluation. But I think before we even get into how to use this week, we have to be really careful and clear on how to use self-evaluation without falling into the habit that we all have at one time or another of self-judgment. Eitan, what do you think is the best way to approach or to set ourselves up so that we don't allow this process to bring us to guilt, shame, beating ourselves up as we begin that reflection process for the end of the Kabbalistic year?
It's a good question, because very often, even when we are very critical about ourselves in a negative way, what's tricky about it, that we're saying some truthful thing that we need to change. So how do you find the balance to point out what I need to improve and to truly reflect and being honest and open heart about it without crushing? And the answer is very simple. I need to ask myself, after this reflection, I had 10 minutes reflection a day in this month, in this particular week. After these 10 minutes of reflection, of looking deep inside, certain mistakes I've done, not just this week, actually we're going to speak soon about reflection for the whole past year. But after these 10 minutes, am I energized and moving towards becoming better human being? Or am I just feeling down and less than? And feeling unenergized and motivated to become better version of myself. The goal of reflection is right after the reflection, it gives me the energy and the tools to become a better version of myself. So if we're going back to the intention behind reflection, is desire to become better. That's the intention. Desire to become better. And desire to become better will manifest itself in specific actions to become better. And we're humans. So very often when I realize about certain mistakes or certain downfalls, let's say you look at yourself and say, wow, I have jealousy. How many people can be proud of being jealous? Doesn't feel good to realize I'm jealous. There's a meanness to it. I'm not wishing well to someone else. And what I've learned from my teacher, but Rav Ashlag saying something amazing. When you reveal something about yourself today that you realize you're doing wrong, and maybe a week ago you didn't see it about yourself, where are you more elevated? When are you more elevated? Today, when you realize that things that you have a little shame about, jealousy, or a week ago? Actually, today you're more elevated because as you're getting closer to your potential, you're actually able to expose the negativity that was hidden last week or a month ago. So even though it's painful to see stuff that you want to change and you're not proud of, the mere fact that you see it, I'm telling myself, today I'm closer. Today I'm closer. I'm actually elevating.
You know, I think what you just shared is going to inspire a certain group of people who are naturally motivated to be better, to do better, to grow and to improve. There's also a lot of people out there that are not yet at that stage, that they're really looking more to get by, get through. Even, you know, I'm thinking about a student that I had a conversation with, and she was triggered by some criticism at work and felt terrible about herself and just was spiraling and couldn't get out. And she's asking me, why do I keep falling like this? What can I do to keep myself from having this criticism or it was constructive. There wasn't accusations. It wasn't violent or anything like that, but she just felt so bad about herself. And I think for people that are, let's say, looking from behind and thinking, how can I live a better life? How can I not fall like this? Or what can I do to be happier, to be stronger? Part of the reason this self-reflection process is so important is because it's what allows us to, or let's say it removes the need of the universe to throw things in our face. So what I mean by that is, let's say if you take that example that this person who received some negative feedback at work and was having trouble digesting it, and it became a self-worth issue instead of actual listening to the feedback. How can I grow from it? What can I learn from it? And then taking action. One of the biggest incentives I feel about doing this work of self-reflection, which again, it's recommended to do every day of the year, but it becomes so much more a part of the spiritual work of this month, is that many times the challenges that we face come to us to show us something we need to work on. And when we're engaged more proactively in looking for how I can improve, how can I grow, reflecting on, oh, you know what, I was a little bit judgmental today. I was critical today. I was defensive today. I took things personally today, and working on it before the universe needs to throw us a chaotic or painful situation to then reflect and say, how can I grow from this? What is this here to teach me? We end up eliminating the need for a lot of unnecessary drama and chaos because we've proactively said, part of my purpose here is to grow and to change. I want to be the director of that change rather than the universe almost forcing me to change.
That's beautiful. I think what you're presenting, Elisheva, is there are two forces in life. There's the force of our soul and the force of our ego. The force of the true essence of who we are, which is our soul, and the false us, the ego, which we all have it. It's part of the game of life. Our soul knows that the only reason I'm in this world is to reveal my potential, means to grow, to learn lessons out to reveal my gifts, my kindness, my love, my energy, my unlimited strength. That's what I came to do in this world. But in order to do this, my soul knows I need to actually expose and reveal what's stopping me from to do it. My selfishness, my laziness, my self-judgment, my neediness, my desire for approval, and all the things that's stopping my true potential to grow. So that's my soul knows. My ego's job, and that's what is doing us, is to feel good now. I want to cover up all what's wrong with me. I want to be approved today. I want to feel amazing today. So the ego doesn't care about growth, wants to feel great now. My soul cares about growth. My true self wants to say, actually, I'm looking forward to see what needs to be improved. What I was blind about. My ego is saying, no, I can't stand it. I feel bad when I realize something was wrong with me. That's the ego vision. And what you say, Elisheva, is look at your own life. Whenever you were resisting learning lessons proactively, chaos had to happen. Think in your own life. Think about major chaos that you experienced in your life in the last 5 years, or major challenge, or major pain. Can be around health, can be around relationship, can be around, God forbid, death of someone, can be around major money loss, can be around lawsuit, can be around something that you called at that time major challenge, major pain. And then realize and reflect how that pain or that chaos force you to learn certain lessons about your life. Sometimes about people you can trust and people not. Sometimes about all the behavior that it forces you to actually act differently. Sometimes it causes you to realize you need to be a better parent and pay attention to the priorities of life, not to the nonsense of life. So what Elisheva mentioned is, you have a choice. If you're going to listen to the ego and say, no, I'm good. I don't want to look at anything I need to improve. I don't want anybody else to tell me, and I don't want to focus. I love myself. Love myself means everything is okay. Accept myself and please other people accept me the way I am. I don't want to look at this even. What's going to happen? You choose a path that you need external shakeups from the universe to learn lessons about yourself. The other choice, by the Kabbalah, is saying proactively, while this month, it's a powerful month because this month of Virgo, this month of, in the ancient Kabbalistic word, the Elul, is the month before Rosh Hashanah, is the month that can give us in a most truthful way, truthful and objective examinations of what needs to be improved more than any other month, but every day it's good to reflect. So the other proactive approach is, I'm looking forward to realize where I need to improve. Certain positive action I need to put out there, and certain negative disciplines, thoughts, behaviors, feeling I want to start to reduce. And that works of reflection for the sake of growth are more powerful when I'm injecting excitement and happiness and gratitude into it. Before even you reflect, because some people reflect whenever something bad happened, why did it happen? It's a little bit reactive. Imagine you take, especially this week, and the entire month will encourage you. You decided, I'm taking 15 minutes a day. The way I do it, I'm using my iPad and I have pencil. I love every day with the little music after meditations to look inside, to reflect. While daily I'm reflecting anywhere about the past day, but in this month I'm also reflecting about the whole last 11 months.
Can you share with us some questions or ways that we can ask ourselves to reflect, to get deeper, that we won't just be working on the superficial issues, but we'll really get to some of the deeper work that we're meant to do?
Yes, there's about 4 categories of reflection. I would like to speak, maybe we will to speak about another category. Sure. So I would like to speak about one category on reflection, and through the question and to the subject, maybe it will give us some tools. So for example, the first category in the ancient Kabbalistic terminology, it's called idol worshiping, but I want to bring it down to practicality. Idol worshiping represents when I'm dependent on external energy to feel better. So under this category, it's addiction and realizing where I lost my connection to my soul, to my center, and I needed the drug, I needed the alcohol, I needed the sex in order to get energy. That's one category I would like to reflect. Because as long as I'm attached to this type of energy, in a long term, it doesn't bring the best results into my life. Another category within idol worshiping is needing approval and recognition from other people and being upset when I'm not getting recognition and approval from other people. So that's a huge category for all of us. Think about it. So many times we are so consumed with our energy, with our mind of wanting to get the appreciation from other people, or upset that I didn't get the approval and the recognition and the appreciation from other people. And when I'm consumed with this energy, you know what I'm disconnecting? I'm disconnecting from the real energy of my soul. Instead of waiting for the energy to come from the outside, I need to look and to trust that the energy come here, but it's tough in real life challenges. So when I'm saying about reflection, in what specific circumstances in my life I was too attached to the energy from the outside, with addiction, with approval and recognition, with anger. Let's go back. Sometimes you need to look at your calendar, meetings that you had. Maybe you look at contact list and say, I got angry with that person 6 months ago. Yeah, but they were totally wrong. Listen, every time you engage with the wrong energy, not soul energy, ego energy, reactive energy, you're planting a seed of negativity in your life. Do you really want it? Do you want seeds of anger inside your system? Your system is your mind, your system is your heart, your system is every cell of your body. Do you want that? I don't want it. That's the reason I want to reflect, because through reflection, you can go back in time and actually experience and vision exactly what happened in that moment, but deciding, you know what, if that situation happening now, I would react differently. I'm going to let go of anger, because what is anger? I'm feeling lack. I'm feeling upset. I don't know how to soothe myself. I don't know how to fix this bad feeling. And through anger at someone or at something or at myself, I'm stimulating myself with false energy that becomes negative energy in my life. So that's part of idol worshiping. I'm using different energy. Business, it's a major area. What is business? Money can be idol worshiping. The fact that I'm lost sense of integrity because I'm so worried about money. And there are some incidents in the past year that you made the wrong decisions which are not so kosher around money, just because you need this energy. Or another category around money. that you would worship people with money, and you will lose your own sense of self with certain people with power, prestige, money, how they look in the eyes of the world. Are you really proud of yourself in a soul level when you've done it? What is some of the decision that you made in the past year that not based on soul, based on it looks good, I'm going to get more from that, feeling good for a second. So this is some of the examples of the first category I would work and sit. And by the way, there's magic to journaling. When you start to write, for some reason, writing connects straight to the subconscious. It's beyond thinking. And some of you might think, but I don't remember anything. As you start to remember one thing, other things will come up. So I would write first what's actually happened, with whom, how did I feel, what is the lesson, if that situation will come again, what would I do different, and can I take a commitment for the future? Those are some of the questions I would ask myself.
It's so interesting for me, when I step back and I hear what you're saying and I look at the wisdom of Kabbalah and the teachings on how to really take advantage and be supported in this work, right? The month of Virgo begins, the new moon is on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Wednesday is the actual first day of the month of Leo, but we've explained before, sometimes that energy, it takes 2 days to plant that seed. And if you know Virgos, or if you are a Virgo, you know that one of the Achilles heels of a Virgo, or someone with a lot of Virgo in their astrological chart, is that they're very self-critical. They're critical of others, but they are their worst critic. And it's perfect, very divinely ordained that this work is done in a time where we're surrounded with, or we're infused with the ability to see more clearly, to be able to identify the seed or the root cause of issues and challenges. But because that Virgo tendency to beat oneself up, to be self-critical, to be self-judgmental, because it's so strong and it's such an easy trap to fall into. Sometimes I think it even feels spiritual when you say, I'm such a terrible person, I can't believe I did that. It sounds like we're taking responsibility, but it's not, because beating ourselves up doesn't lead us to action. It's really paralyzing or immobilizing. So I think we need to talk just a couple minutes about how to do this work in a space of self-forgiveness, in a knowing that there was also divine ordination in the mistakes that I've made, and my imperfections are actually perfect for me. So before we get into that self-reflection and the evaluating process, I think we need to make sure to infuse it with the compassion, the forgiveness, I often remind students, especially when focusing on something that's in the past that didn't just happen last week, we really have to look at it through the lens of whether it's me or someone else I need to forgive. They were doing the best that they could in that moment, right? With the tools and the knowledge that they had, right? Even if you felt threatened or defensive or whatever you were feeling that made you say or do what you said or did, at that moment, that was all you could do. And maybe you have some insight or some advice on how to make sure that this process of the month of Virgo and this week specifically can be done with mercy, with love, and with compassion.
Yes, first, you said something important. You said divine imperfection or divine mistakes. The Zohar tells us actually that before the world was created, we were meant to make mistake. It was preordained. Because imagine we came to this world as perfect being that didn't make any mistakes. So what's the process, what we call in Kabbalah, earning the light? Mistakes is what allowing us actually to truly experience what we call transformation. So actually there's a sentence that said there's not even a righteous, saint person in this world who doesn't make mistakes. Everybody make mistakes. And actually, Rav Ashlag, one of the Kabbalists, the greatest Kabbalist, saying that after the fact, when you look back at the mistake, you need to look at this as it was actually part of your spiritual process to make that mistake. Learn the lesson from it, never regret it. Because regret means I wish it would never happen. Imagine, try to consider that the fact that you have some mistakes or shortcomings that you carry within you from past lifetime and this lifetime, it is actually part of your divine process. Without this, you wouldn't be able to be who you are. And without learning from these mistakes, you'll never be able to reveal your true potential. So that's number one. Number two, change. Change requires two forces. Number one, it's the recognition of the mistake comparing to my true potential, which that's what's painful to accept. But change can never happen if the energy around the issue is kindness. In order to fertilize ground for true change, has to be energy of kindness, because the Creator is energy of kindness. Kindness cannot dwell in energy that is not kind. So practically it means if I'm beating myself up and I'm not kind to myself and something is wrong with me, I'm so far from my potential, I did horrible mistakes, I have to change and I'm down. What type of energy and frequency existing here? Harshness, judgment. I'm less than. So I'm not receiving the support from the universe, from the light, from the source of all good to help me to move to my next level. The other ways, first, before you actually getting into what you actually would love to change and you realize it's not what your real potential is, infuse yourself with energy of kindness and tell yourself, no matter what, the mere fact that I'm sitting and reflecting, actually I'm proud of myself. And I like myself. What is to be kind with myself? To like myself and to believe in myself. And when you're injecting these thoughts, and then you say, I see this is wrong, and then be brutally honest with yourself at the same time. But don't lose that energy of believing in yourself. Think about your child, or your nephew, or someone, a child that you care for. And they did a mistake, and you tell them what was wrong, but you're destroying them with lack any kindness. And you don't show that you even believe in themselves. You are a bad boy. Versus, I love you. You are amazing. I believe in you. But this has to change. So that's so essential when we are reflecting. So being in two places, I like myself, I'm kind to myself, but I don't want to stay the same. And I'm brutally honest with myself. I'm ready to go to my next level.
This concept that Eitan was just sharing, the idea of, on one hand, being honest and acknowledging where my work is, but also at the same time focusing on the true me, the light within me, my soul, and operating more from that place. That's really the foundation of the course that we are opening up next week called Kabbalah 1. Eitan even mentioned throughout, for anybody who was listening, a phrase, earning the light. We dedicate a whole class to that concept, understanding how fundamental it is to our fulfillment, our purpose, and feeling connected to purpose. We'd love for you to join us. It's a 10-week course. It's on Zoom. And if the time doesn't work for you, if maybe you're on the other side of the planet, we have Kabbalah 1 classes opening up in all of our locations in many different languages, also online. And we'll include the link to get more information about that in this episode's show notes. But, this work, I think, the work of the month of Virgo, the work of this week, and the whole lesson that the Kabbalists give about self-evaluation is, yes, the month of Virgo is the month. If you want to create change for the coming year, this is the week, this is the month. But it's really a practice that the Kabbalists encourage year-round. And so we'll get deeper into that in the next few episodes. Keeping in mind, again, that Tuesday and Wednesday are the new moon. So we make extra effort on that day because the 2 days of the new moon really create the mold for what's to come in the following 28 days. We really make the effort to be our best selves, to be as proactive as possible, to be the person that we want, to dress for the job we want, to be the person that we would love to show up as the entire month. And then we create that vessel, and it supports us throughout the month. So we encourage everyone to pay attention to that, be aware. But as with everything we said today, when you mess up, whether it's on the new moon or any other time, the real work is to pick yourself up. It's not about if you fall. It's really, the test is how quickly you can get up from the falling. And so the trick or the work of this week and this month is to be light about this work. The Kabbalists even say to go so far as to get excited every time you notice something else. Every morning or evening when you journal about where your work is and you discover something new, not to be upset, not to be frustrated, not to feel blindsided, but to get excited, because you can only work on what you're aware of. And when you become aware of something, it's a sign that you're ready to work on it. Eitan, any last words for our listeners this week?
Yes, the last word is think big. Our potential is huge. When you think about change, everything starts with desire to change. Think unlimited. Our divine soul is so much bigger than what we can imagine. So when you open yourself to the downloads, what things I need to change, tell the universe, please help me to see things I need to change in order to connect with my big, unlimited potential. Think big. The universe wants to give us unlimited blessings.
Beautiful. I think that's a great way to go into this week and the month of Virgo. As always, you can find Weekly Energy Boost on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us on social media to be supported throughout the week with more content, more information on how to do this work. We also encourage you to visit weeklyenergyboost.com, where you can find the links for Kabbalah 1 all over the world, as well as the other things that we want our listeners to be aware of. You can click the donate button there and help make our podcast possible. But as always, we love it when we hear from students, people out there who are saying, a friend sent me this episode. I have a question for you. Keep sharing, keep sending this to whoever. This is one of those episodes that everyone needs to hear. So continue to share it. And we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.
Best.